Myself, M.KARTHIYAYINI, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science. Now I am going to explain a OSI layer in computer network. OSI model is an open system interconnected model. It's a 7-layer reference model developed by an ISO. ISO is nothing but an international standard organization which can be used to explain how data travels from computer to another computer over a network. The OSI model divides the communication process into 7 layers, where each layers perform a specific function and communicate with the layers directly above and below it. This layered approach simplifies network design, troubleshooting, and protocols development. The 7 layers of OSI layers are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. In order to remember all these 7 layers, we can have this sentence as all people seems to need data processing. We can remember the first letter of this sentence in order to remember all the 7 layers of OSI model. The first layer is an application layer, which is called as an topmost layer of an OSI model. This application layer provides a network services directly to end users, and it enables application to communicate over the network. The main function of an application layer is to provide an interfaces between users and network services. It always supports emails, file transfers, web browsing, and remote logging. It is used to identify communication partners, and it determines resource availabilities. It has common protocols such as HTTP, DNS, SMTP, FTP, POP3, IMAP, Telnet, SSH. The main concept of application layer, it contains a HTTP protocol is a basic for worldwide applications. When the browser wants a web page, it sends the name of the page to the server. Then the server sends back the page using HTTP protocol. Here in the application layer, the data unit is considered as a message. Next layer is a presentation layer. At the lower layer are mainly concerned with moving bits around, but the presentation layer is concerned with syntax and semantic of the information. The common concept of presentation layer is to ensure that data enhanced between system is presented in the format understandable by both sender and receiver. The main functions of presentation layer is that data translation, data encryption and decryption, data compression and decompression, character encoding conversion. Whereas in data translation, it converts the data into a common format that the sender and receiver can understand. It will always encrypt the data in the sender side, and it will decrypt at the receiver side. And it will make the data to be compressed in a sender side, and it will always decompress the data at the receiver end. It converts a character code from one encoding format to another. For an example, it can convert ASCII to Unicode. Next concept of a layer is called as a session layer. Session layer is used to establish, manage and terminate communication session between application, and it provides the function called as a dialog control, synchronization and recovery. The main functions of session layer is an session establishment, dialog control, synchronization, recovery and token management. Session established between two applications in order to start their communication. After the session established, it always maintain a dialog control between the sender and the receiver, and it will always synchronize the data during long communication. The session layer is interrupt. If any interrupt is occur, it always recover and resume the communications, and it always controls access to resource using tokens. Next comes upon a transport layer, which is considered as the heart of OSI, responsible for delivery of the messages from one process to another process. The main responsibility of the transport layer is to transfer the data completely. It always makes the data to be delivered from process to process, in the sense from one process on a source host to the corresponding process on the destination host in a computer network. The transport layer is always receives the data from the application layer, and it will transfer the data into smaller units called as segments, and it will add a header to each segment, and it will make the delivered to be a reliable by using error control, flow control and sequencing. At the destination, the segmented data are reassembled and delivered to the current process. The key functions of the transport layer is called as a reliable deliver, flow control, error control, sequencing and reassembling, multiplexing and deep multiplexing. The main concept of the transport layer is to ensure that the data is delivered completely and correctly from one process to another process, regardless of the network in between. Next comes upon the network layer. Network layer is always used to control the operation of the subnet, and it will handle the routing and sending of data between different network. The functions of networking is called as a routing, packet assembling, addressing, data integrity. In the routing, it will find the best path for the data packet to travel across a network. As it is received the segment from the transport layer, it converts the segment as a packet to packets in the network layer. It will always break up data into packets and reassemble them on the receiving end. It always add and using IP address at that in order to identify the device on the network. It makes the data to be accuracy and reliability by using an encryption, error reduction and correction techniques, and it always makes the data to be backup. Next, it comes upon the transport data link layer. Data link layer is responsible for the node-to-node deliver of the message within the same network. The main function of this layer is to ensure that data transfer is error-free from one node to another over the physical layer. When a packet arrives in a network, it is responsible of the DLL to transmit it to the host using its MAC address. Packet in the data link layer is referred to as a frame. Switches and bridges are common data link layer devices. In the data link layer, the packet received from the network layer is encapsulated into a frame, and it will add a header at the front, and at the back it will add a trailer. The header contains a control information like MAC address, error control address. In the trailer, it adds a error reduction informations. Next comes upon the physical layer. Physical layer is responsible for movements of individual bits from one hop to the next hop. As the computer can understand only the machine languages, so the lower layer of the physical layer will always convert the data to be an individual bits from one hop to the next hop. The overall reference of the OSI model is an application layer is the topmost layer, whereas the physical layer is an lower level layer. First three layers, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, will be considered as a software layer, and the transport layer is considered as an heart of the OSS, and it is an end-to-end layer. Remaining three layers, network, data link and physical layer, will be always considered as a hardware layer. The application layer will always provide services directly to end users and application, whereas the presentation layer will always ensure the data in a format that both sender and receiver can understand. Session layer is used to establish, manage and terminate communication session, whereas the transport layer provides reliable end-to-end deliver and error control. In network layers, the data segment received from the transport layer is converted into a packet from source to destination across different networks. The packets received from the network layer is always converted into a messages frames in a data link layer, and it will always provide node-to-node deliver and ensure error reduction on the same network. The lower level layer is considered as a physical layer, which always used to transmit raw bit over the physical medium.